The purpose of today's 1 hour long seminar is to discuss different ways that you can make your displays and visual merchandising more effective in the store. I want to start by introducing myself. My name is Larry Johnson. I own Larry Johnson Consulting Services. I'm a visual merchandising consultant based out of Dallas, and my business for the last 10 years has essentially been working with independent jewelers around the world to improve the way that they display their merchandise and grow their business. I'm the author of The Complete Guide to Effective Jewelry Display. It is the book that the GIA used for their visual merchandising class. It is number 12,798,366 on Amazon's bestseller list, and currently goes for $900 on eBay plus shipping. I have some copies here that I'm willing to sell for $8.99, and I'll provide free shipping if you're so interested. My website, if you figure out. Sorry. If you want further information on anything I show you today, you can look on my website, Larry Johnson Consulting, or email me at this email address, or call me at 817-980-2135. Before we get started, I wanted to make a free offer to people that are following on Box Brokers seminars. That is that I'm willing to do a free 30-minute consultation with you, discussing specific problems or issues you have with your displays, how to improve them. It does not include a sales pitch for my services or for Box Brokers product. It's just Box Brokers' way of trying to help you be more successful with your store. If you do not want to take notes in the seminar today, this is being recorded on the Zoom account, and it will be open for you to review it with your staff in your store or take notes in the portion of the Box Brokers website called Box Brokers University. This portion is full, this portion of the site is full of lots of free informational educational seminars, including this seminar. You simply go to the Box Brokers homepage and click on BB University. That will take you to this page, and you scroll down and there are display or packaging or marketing seminars that are anywhere from 2 or 3 minutes to this one being about an hour long, including some 7-minute seminars that are great for sales meetings or staff meetings first thing in the morning. There are also presentation seminars on a lot of the unique Box Brokers product, and all of that again is boxbrokersgroup.com. So the purpose of what I'm really trying to accomplish today is to get you to think or to see your store differently than perhaps how you have in the past. An awfully lot of people grew up in the jewelry business. They had family members that were active in the business, and they kind of morphed into this job. They come into the store every day, and they're often caught up in the minutia of what's involved in running a jewelry store between staffing challenges and other challenges. So what I'd like to try to get you to do today is back up and ask yourself if you can see your store through a different set of eyes. And for this 1 hour, being able to see how your store operates differently might result in growth and new sales that you weren't anticipating. So number one of the ways you can make your displays more effective is to simply have intention. And by intention, I ask the question of what is it you want to happen? Now, I know an easy answer to that question is to say, I want to sell more. But that's a little bit like saying I want to lose weight without having a specific plan on what I'm going to do in order to accomplish that. So it's important that you have the individual detailed plans of how you want to accomplish what you want to happen in the store. I like to think of some of the help that I do with my clients in much the same format as a GPS. When you get in your car and you are going to an unfamiliar destination, if you plug in where you're going, it will tell you quite specifically where to turn right, where to turn left. And I try to take the same approach in how we're looking at where we want the store to be. So the first thing we have to develop is the destination. Where do you want, or how do you want your store to be different 2 or 3 years from now from the way it is right now? What are the changes you would like to see if you could move ahead 3 years and look at your store with those fresh eyes? Now, I recognize that it may be that if you might want a different location or have different marketing, have different inventory, different systems, different staff, or an improvement in the way that you present your merchandise. All of these changes can reap strong benefits. However, they each take an individual plan. So today I'm here to talk specifically about what we can do from a presentation standpoint. So the first question is, what kind of a strategy does your store have? What kind of a display strategy? And I often hear when I'm visiting with stores around the country that there really isn't one. I've heard comments like, hurry up and put it all in. We open in 10 minutes. You can't sell it if you don't have it out. Let Betty Lou arrange the displays. She likes doing it and they look so pretty when she does it. Or the one that I hear quite often the most is just get it all in the showcase. Well, I have an argument with the idea that displays need to be pretty. In fact, I have found that when I'm doing a strong estate case, it actually sells more if it looks a little bit messy. It sells more if it looks a little bit more like you're going through grandma's jewelry box. Displays in your store, it's nice when they look attractive, but they're supposed to sell merchandise. They're not supposed to be pretty. Displays in museums should be pretty. Displays in jewelry stores should sell the merchandise. So I suggest you display your cases with intention. You display your cases to help you sell the pieces that you want most to sell. That means that you know which pieces in the case you want most to sell. Now, I'm all right with whether that's the piece on which you have the most profit, or the piece you've had since Reagan was president, or the piece that you just hate to look at every day. It doesn't matter in that sense. It's the piece that you want most to sell. You should display your cases to raise your average dollar sale. So looking at diamond fashion earrings, for example, it's important that you look through your computer reports that identify for you what the average sale is on diamond studs, for example, and you display your cases to raise that average dollar sale. And you do that for every single case, every single category, every single merchandise group in your store. And if you can raise the average dollar sale, obviously, arithmetically, the total sales of the store increases. And one of the most important things that I'm suggesting is that you display your cases in a way that satisfies your customers' needs without as much inventory. My prediction is that in the future, as custom and online, both through your competitors and through your own website, as that business grows over the next few years, jewelry stores are going to find that they can't afford to carry as many dollars in inventory as they have in the past. They can't afford to leave a ring in the case for 4 years without it being sold. So consequently, we're going to have to find a way to run a successful store without as many SKUs, without as many dollars worth of inventory in the showcase. An analogy I like to use is the difference between a restaurant and a cafeteria. If I go into a cafeteria, I'm given a tray and a plate, and I slide it along this tray here in the front, and I point at what I'd like to have, and the nice person behind the counter, dishes it up on my plate for me. Well, when we present our merchandise, like this merchandise you see in the right-hand photograph, we're essentially doing the same thing. We are relinquishing control of the sale from the salesperson to the customer. We're just waiting on them. Clerking is a better verb, perhaps, and getting them whatever they tell us they want. And this eliminates salesmanship. And quite frankly, it eliminates the need for higher dollar salespeople in the store if all they're going to do is ring up the sale. So when we were on a recent trip to the Middle East and I saw street vendors displaying their way that you see it is here, I thought that that's not really so different from when we load our bridal cases full of lots of choices and just leave the customer free to make up their mind as far as what they want to buy. When we do this type of a layout, which I really dislike, we're accomplishing exactly the same thing. Now, at least in this area, we're featuring a few pieces as different from something else. But otherwise, when we line it up like this, we're simply telling the person, look through these. And by the way, when we do this, people stop looking by about the fifth or sixth one. They don't look at every single one of these and then do the same thing in the next row. So it's really, fighting against yourself. So I asked the question, what is the intention? Which one of these rings do you want most to sell? When you're displaying them all in 5-ring horizontal trays, you're equating them all. You're not insinuating that this ring is any different from this ring because they're all being presented identically. If, however, we move from this type of a case to something more like this that you see, we're making the merchandise look more valuable and we're making the store appear to be more professional. If we think in terms of a restaurant where we have someone helping us and someone recommending today's special and someone using certainly more emotional adjectives to discuss the choices that are available that day, we create a higher ticket item. Dinners are much more expensive in a restaurant than they are in a cafeteria. And we create more of an experience than simply lunch. So when we start to look at our intention and where we want to be in 3 years, do we want more or less inventory, the same inventory or something different? Do we want to move up market or more mass market in our pricing? Do we want to show more or less bridal, more or less custom? Well, if you're an Edge software user, and I don't know how many of you are, but if you're an Edge software user, you have at your disposal with those reports information that will guide you into where your strengths and weaknesses are and identify quite specifically for you where you have gaps in your inventory, gaps in your price points, gaps in the age of your inventory. And by working with my free 30-minute call that I offered to you, we can identify those, and that can begin to give you specific steps in how to move forward with improving your displays and improving your business to get to that goal you have in 3 years. So initially, let's just say that there are a lot of stores that lose the sale in the last 18 inches of their showcase. They've gone to the shows, they've researched the vendors, they've ordered in the merchandise, they've entered it in their computer system. And when it comes to putting it in their showcase, they put it in their showcase in a haphazard manner of discoordinated displays, and it ends up undermining the value, certainly the perceived value of the merchandise they're trying to show. I find that stores that have nicer and more coordinated jewelry displays do not get as much price resistance as, let me back up a moment, do not get as much price resistance when your case looks like this as opposed to looking like this. So make it your intention to outfit and organize your showcases to sell those pieces that you want most to sell. Point number 2, display your merchandise to match what your sales team says about it. So for example, if I were to tell you that I was a rap star or a trapeze performer, and at my age and with my physique, you'd have a hard time believing that. So when you have a ring that you've displayed in a tray down here in the bottom, and you're talking to me about the craftsmanship of that ring, the unique design, the very special diamond, how many diamonds have to be gone through by the diamond companies to be able to create a diamond that's as unique and specific as that individual diamond right there. The obvious question that exists, whether it's spoken or not in the mind of the consumer, is if that's such a special ring, how come it's displayed in a case with all these other rings in an out of the way place? So there's an incongruity between how you're displaying the ring and what you're saying about it. And an incongruity breeds disbelief. A person is not as willing to believe the very true, valuable selling points that you're trying to communicate because it doesn't match, what they see doesn't match what they hear. I recommend the use of something called the 20-40-40 showcase layout, and this will help you help your customer to believe what you're saying. The basics of this are very simple. You divide the merchandise that's on a given platform into a good, better, best system. The best system should compose about the top 20% of the elements that you want most to sell. Now, normally, when I'm doing a consultation in a store, this will be the most expensive pieces or the pieces that have the highest profit margin. Those are the ones I want to have appear more special. So therefore, they're displayed on individual elements. The next grouping down are the mid-price pieces, the 40% that's in the middle. And those would go on not individual elements, but trays that hold 3 to 5. And they're the better pieces. And then the least expensive 40% goes on the higher capacity trays, and these are the good pieces. So here's an example of this platform with however many rings this is. It's 5, 10, 16, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 40. It's about 45 rings. So 20% of that would be about 9. And again, these are guidelines. So I have 7 rings here that are the ones I want most to sell. I have those are the best. My better fall into these 3-ring trays and this 5-ring tray. And my good fall into the 40% that are in these 8-ring trays at the bottom. So if I had 50 rings on a platform, and by the way, the box brokers platforms are designed for you to assemble on a given platform pieces that have some common denominator. They've got to have some, they are all halos, they're all princess cut, they're all the earrings are round diamonds. They're whatever the orb, they're all everything on this platform is a state, or everything on this platform is 14 karat. It doesn't matter as long as everything on the platform has some common denominator. So with 50 rings, 20% of 50 is 10. 40% of 50 is 20, and another the same. So 20 in the good, 20 in the better, 10 in the best. Obviously, if these are 5-ring trays, 4 of them. If these are 3-ring trays, it would be 7 of them because this number is an approximate, and these would be individual ring stands. The other thing I want to bring up is years ago, I did displays for the Zale Corporation, and they have a prototype store in Dallas where they videotape all the consumers that call the customers that come into that store. And when they're in that store and they walk up to the showcase, they are videotaping where that customer's eyes look first. And I watched those videos many times. And this area in the back center of a platform is where everyone looks first. And if you're of Western heritage and you read from left to right, your eye starts here, it comes over this way and comes back. Our customers that have Asian heritage, because most Asian languages read from right to left, start here, come over to this way, and come back down. These front corners of the showcase of a platform are the areas people look at the least. So we have designated, and when I was consulting on the design of these displays with the folks at Box Brokers, we've called this platform that is available back here in the back, the sweet spot platform, because the items that go on this area of a platform are going to be seen by more people. And it follows logically that if more people are going to see a particular piece of jewelry, we have a better chance that we're going to sell it. So place the best pieces at the back of the platform, closest to the salesperson, the sweet spot, better in the middle, good in the front. Here's the example of, again, best, better, and good. Now, this can make your sales presentation flow more smoothly. Your sales staff would always start with the best pieces. If they say, yes, I like that piece, but at X dollars, it's outside my price point, they put their hand further in, they replace the best piece and reach in for a better piece and show that. Once again, if that meets price resistance, they simply drop down to the good. There's no reason to have to move the customer to a different case. If your less expensive bridal pieces or your less expensive diamond fashion is in a separate case from your better pieces, you're physically moving that customer in the store in order to, because of their ability to pay the price that your better pieces command. And I don't like the idea of moving the customer in the store once they're at a place where you can show them your better pieces. One point is when you are positioning pieces in the front of your showcase, do not use displays that are angled. Let's go back and take a look. Notice that these trays are pitched, they're at an angle, but these trays on the bottom are flat. The idea is we want all of the merchandise on this platform to be visible standing closest to the case and looking down through the top glass to see it. Nobody wants to shop in a bent over position. So anytime in your store that you see a customer bending over to look through the front glass of your showcase, it should signal within you that this customer is not going to shop there very long because it's not a comfortable position for them to be in. And the displays that you have in this part of the showcase in the front need to be flat. Notice here the angled and the flat trays. The goal is to have your customer come closer to the showcase by looking down through the top, as I've said. Number 3, use your signage more effectively. I think there's been a long-standing tradition in a lot of stores that elegant fine jewelry stores should not put signage in their showcase, and it should all be left up to the more than capable salespeople? Well, I find that when you have a very capable salesperson and they're talking to me about a particular piece of jewelry, the only way I can gather information is by listening to that salesperson. Whereas I'm of the opinion that show and tell is more effective than just tell. For example, when you show someone the information you're communicating and tell them, they're both seeing and hearing the sales points that you want to convey. In this presentation, for example, you're reading these slides while I'm telling you these marketing ideas, and therefore you have two of your senses being involved in getting the information. If I were doing all this presentation with a blank screen, you'd be totally relying on your imagination to envision what I'm talking about. And the chance of you hearing every single one of the features and benefits that I go through on these points would be diminished. So I don't suggest that you use adhesive stickers or taped on labels on your product. Working with my friends at Box Brokers, we created these taco signs because these small acrylic pieces are shaped like a taco shell and they have a magnet on the back. And being magnetic, they will attract right to the metal display and or in the case if it's a display that has no metal in it, there's a stand that this will sit on and allow you. Here's the taco shell that you see here on the back of this sign. In addition, Box Brokers on the Box Brokers University page, pardon me, has templates that allow you to make these signs about 60 at a time on the smaller size. This size fits the Brother P-Touch label maker. This is the default size for the Edge software when you enter a new piece of merchandise into your uh, uh, system. It offers to make you a sign immediately right from the Edge. And this is the size of that sign. And then this is a slightly larger one. So it's small, medium, and large. These come in bundles with some of the taco stands. You can tell where we were having lunch the day that we came up with the name for these signs. Moving on, I suggest that each one of your showcases has the name of the store inside to make sure you're rebranding in the mind of the consumer over and over again where they're shopping. One other concept I'd like to suggest is that you purchase a dry erase board and an easel. All in, this is about $125 at the local office supply store. And you incorporate the word what's new and you identify new pieces of jewelry that have arrived in your case in the last few months or at whatever time. When a customer walks in the front door of your store and looks at your store from the front door, it probably looks the same as it did a year ago or 2 years ago, because all of the changes in your inventory and all have occurred inside the showcase where it's too small for you to see from the front door. When you have, when you have this type of a sign in the front, you're communicating that you're getting, the store is in fact dynamic. It is in fact getting new pieces. And then the beauty of this is if you sell this peridot and amethyst necklace, you don't erase it off of this board. You simply draw a line through it where it can still be read. And now there's even more dynamism in the sense that things that are new and have arrived and gone in the case have sold. This is not unlike a seafood restaurant on a Friday night when you get there late and the red snapper is gone. You create the fact that that there is demand for these pieces and there's activity in the store. Quite obviously, if someone comes in and there's a line through this piece, Or let's say this one, the Marquis Tanzanite Yellow Gold Diamond Ring. Oh, gee, I wish I'd seen that. Well, you have a photograph of it in your Edge system that you took before you put it in the case. So we've actually had my consulting clients sell additional pieces off of this sign when the first piece was sold simply off the photograph. This is another variation on the same thing. This is a few of our favorite things, in much the same sense that people read Yelp ratings in order to get a recommendation. A sign in your store that says our employees have chosen these favorite pieces of clothing can take this concept and convert it to your store. Here's another strategy, identifying the different things at a Lowe's that were available for $79 a month. I wonder if you offer 12-month financing in your store, 0%, then that would mean that $1,200. How many pieces of jewelry do you have in your showcases that are available for less than $1,200? So perhaps you have 500, 600. Then you could have a sign in your window or as you come in that you have 600 pieces of jewelry in your store that are available for less than $99 a month. You want to convey that idea that you're shopping in your store, that it's affordable. Much the same way, 30 meals for less than $8.99. We have the 500 pieces that are less than $99 a month. Here's some ways that's been applied. 1,000 items inside for 150. And here's much of the same thing, starting at $69, lots of choices with this in the window, if you have windows in your location. Another good idea copied from my friends at Lowe's is a deal of the day. That's a scenario in which you put a piece of jewelry in your showcase. I do this frequently in a tower, and we have the regular price, and we make a special discounted offer on it to blow it out the door. And we've done this where we've actually reduced the price every week until somebody actually buys it. I'm suggesting that you want to upgrade your sales vocabulary. Years ago, well, let me say, when you train your staff to use emotional adjectives, there's a big difference between saying a ring is pretty or it's beautiful or it's spectacular. Stunning or spectacular or incredible convey a more emotional quotient, and emotion is what jewelry stores are all about. I got the list of I created a list of very emotional adjectives that are actually on the Box Brokers University page. And if you were to watch on television shopping networks, you will never hear them say that a ring is pretty or even that it's beautiful, because they're trained to use very emotional adjectives in their store. I feel like the most worthless sign that's in many stores is the sign that says we offer financing. I prefer instead, this is a small Box Brokers sign holder, to create a sign that actually gives the customer some idea of what the monthly payment would be for the items in this case. Now, this is based on 12-month 0% financing. We've said it's with approved credit. But if you had this in your bridal case, and let's say it went up to $10,000 or $20,000, when you're dealing with a young couple that's shopping for an engagement ring, you don't want to stop and have to calculate what the monthly payment would be each time they look at a different price pointed ring. But if you have it here in this type of a sign, the bride or the groom can simply say, if I'm at $2,500, it's going to be about $209 a month. If I was at 2,700, I'm going to be about $235 a month. It allows you to keep going with the selling presentation and not get caught having just basically being the operator of a calculator. I always recommend that you have the store name, as I showed you before with the acrylic sign. Box Brokers has created, this is their Smart Pro Generation 2 platform. And I'll show you, but they have a cutout, half moon cutout in the front part here that allows you to customize the way that this fine store did to, again, reinforce the branding. And they've actually identified what kind of merchandise is on each platform. I also suggest turning your wall monitor into some type of a selling tool. This is a company I'm familiar with that does, for $99 a month, slideshows that have your store name on them. It's www.mystoremonitor.com. You can check that business out as well, and they will create a slide presentation for you that will change each month to turn your monitors into selling tools for you. New stores every month. They'll include items you have in your case, photos of your custom work, photos of your special, no contract, $99 a month. Number 4, use the technology you already have to make display decisions. I'm a big believer in the Edge Inventory Performance by Category report. I like to run this report for the last 365 days and look at the sales that a store has by different categories of the merchandise. Now, if you're familiar with this report, it's predicated on the idea that this is what you paid for that merchandise. So let me, oops, sorry. If you look at the diamond earrings, wrong one. The average retail price for diamond earrings for this store is $1,112, and they take a little over a year in average sale to sell that product. When I look at this, I know that if I'm going to promote a pair with a special or in a top 10 gift idea promo, that I don't want to promote diamond earrings that are $10.99. If my goal is to, what's my intention? My intention is to grow the store by 20%. So 20% of this is about $200 more. If I was going to feature a pair of diamond earrings, I would want to feature a pair for about $1,300, because if I can grow the sales to 1,300, grow the sales of diamond ear studs, grow the sales of diamond pendants, grow the sales of loose diamonds by 20%, then the entire store grows by 20%. This also allows us to look at, if I were to be at $1,300.
Johnson, or I say Salison Johnson.
That if I were to grow that store, I would want to make certain that I had diamond earrings in stock that were not old, that were available at the price that I aspire to grow my sales to. Number 5, help the clueless gift shopper find a gift. Well, you have women that come into a jewelry store, they come in to shop. Men come into a jewelry store to buy. So if we can make the decision for that man simpler, he wants to simply get in, find something she's going to like, something he can afford, and get out of the store as quickly as possible. I suggest the top 12 gift ideas. This is where you go through and choose 12 pieces of merchandise, starting at a price point of about $100 and going up to the most expensive non-bridal piece you have in your store, 100, 200, right on up. This would include 2 to 3 rings, 3 to 4 earrings, pair of earrings, 3 to 4 pendants, and 1 to 3 bracelets. You'd want to make sure you included diamond ear studs, anniversary bands, and if you have some designer merchandise in your store, you'd want to include one of those pieces at least, and pieces that reflect your store positively. Do that based upon the analysis that we just discussed, and then choose the 12, gift wrap 12 empty boxes, go to Avery Label 5302 at an office supply store and create little tent signs. Use the emotional adjectives from the Box Brokers University video, put them in the cases, get the sales team familiar with what the 12 items are, and then modify it each Valentine's Day or Mother's Day to whatever price point your average sales are for Valentine. For example, for Valentine, men don't normally spend as many dollars as they might at Christmas. So you may need a selection of 12 gift ideas that are at a 20% increase over what you did the previous Valentine Day. Here's that tent card that's available from Avery Label. Here's another version of it, and you can simply type this out. Notice here we have radiant, we have words that have more emotion to them. And make certain wherever you put it in your case, you're not having shadows shine down on it. Here's the gift wrap box, here's the piece, and here's the sign. They should all be within about 6 inches of each other, and the box is there to make it easy for your store staff to be able to walk around and find the pieces easily, and they're familiar with them. We've literally had men say, I want to buy this piece and I want it gift wrapped just like this, because they can envision now what it's going to look like when they give it to the lady of their choice. Pull the aged inventory out of the case. I know that people become very fond of their old inventory and start to have emotional problems in trying to get rid of it. But I prefer that you think of it more like brown bananas, that they're simply past their prime and they need to move down the road. I read a research a few years back about the new dress shop in town example. If a new dress shop opens up in your town and has no national presence or no one's ever heard of the shop before, the question was, how many dresses does a typical customer look at walking into the store before she decides that this store is her kind of store or that it has the type of merchandise that she likes? And the answer to that is 4 to 5. If you have 4 or 5 choices to get the interest of your customer, then if you have aged inventory in your case, let's say 40% of your inventory is over 14 to 18 months old, then 2 of your 4 to 5 choices are already gone because people have looked that merchandise over and decided that they're not interested in it. So it's why we can't allow aged inventory to remain in the case. So we really want, when we have a mass of inventory and we have the pieces that you want most to sell and they're cluttered up by too many other opportunities in the case that nobody likes, we're hurting ourselves. Number 7, make it easy for me to find what you want in the store. Because remember here, what we're trying to do is see things differently. Don't see this as a tree, see it as a gorilla and as a tiger. So stop thinking like a jeweler and start thinking like the customer. When I walk into your bridal area, how many cases do I have to go to in order to see your entire halo selection? I go in an awfully lot of stores that use vendor displays, and as a result, they're like walking into this grocery store and trying to buy a cup or a bag of coffee when you've got coffee the store owns, True Romance, Gabriel. You've got all these different brands and all these different categories. How can I make a comparative purchase between different brands of merchandise when I have to walk between 4 or 5 different showcases in the store? If you look at how some of these companies that are successful online, they all start with shopping by shape. Excuse me, this is the diamond style. They start with shape or with the style of the ring or the designer. So here it's very easy for the customer to click on a 3-stone, and that will sort this inventory for them by their choice. If you organize your bridal department either by style or by diamond shape, and then organize it in a good, better, best format for all your halos, you'll find that it's easier for your salespeople and it's certainly easier for your customer to shop. Many of these stores I'm in um, tend to, if they were a website, people would have clicked off of it a long time ago because it's very difficult to navigate through a store. Like I said, organize it with your style and then the 20, 40, 40. And here's what it basically looks like: halos, solitaires, 3-stone, however many different groups of merchandise you're going to say. Number 8 is don't make it so hard for me to figure out what to buy. I'm always amazed when I walk in a store and I see a diamond stud case that looks like this. How do I differentiate this pair from this pair from this pair? And I have a sales associate behind the counter and I ask how much these are. Well, how much are these? Well, how much are those? Um, it's a very awkward selling position. If you programize your collection and have whatever groups uh, work for you, this is princess, best, better, and good. If you organize it this way and you have the price and you have the carat weight in here, you'll notice how many pairs of these have been sold. And as a result, this sells a lot more merchandise because it's a lot easier for someone to shop. I do a lot of these right now where the extra tray over here is in a different color, and I'll do that with lab-grown diamonds instead of mine diamonds. One other quick point, I don't start with the least expensive in the back and move down to the most expensive in the front. Remember, this area is the sweet spot of the case. So flip this around and have the best ones in the back coming down to the smallest ones in the front. When you go in and order a margarita, you don't ask for bottom shelf tequila, you get top shelf tequila. Top up here is better and it's near the sweet spot. I suggest that this type of a tray, which the industry calls a program tray, can be used for a lot of different categories. Obviously, studs, anniversary bands, solitaire pendants, your most popular halo mounting, your most popular solitaire mounting, tennis bracelets. You've got to keep these trays stocked, just like you have here, because when they have gaps in them or someone's given away the pad, when you have these gaps, the idea is quite obviously you're communicating that the display's been picked over. Box Brokers created these program trays within the last year that are all simply a ring, pendant, or earring display showing 1 item, 3 items, or 6 items, allowing you to have signage in them so you can create program trays that match exactly the assortment of inventory you want to have. And this will make selling faster and easier for your staff as well. Number 9, use a visual to help you sell more custom work. When I ask people where they want to be in 3 more years, quite frequently they'll say that they want to do more custom work. When I ask them where they have custom conversations, the answer is almost always on top of a showcase. And on a Saturday afternoon, you don't want a couple discussing a custom creation out of grandma's sapphire ring on top of your diamond case in your bridal department. So I suggest you take an out of the way case, you use one of the platforms, and this one doesn't have the sign in it yet, and you incorporate some standard antique type jewelry tools that include wax, some stones, and a few items, so that when you're talking to them about how you're going to create this custom ring for them, they actually see the craftsmanship and the tools that are involved in making this display happen. It's not like you put the drawing into a magic machine and the diamond ring falls out the bottom. So using a display like this to communicate and to sell custom pieces grows sales, because it moves you away from an area of the case, freeing it up like a bridal case, freeing it up for someone else, and allows you to show and tell what you're doing for the bridal or for that custom piece. Number 10, recognize the importance in your store's, the display in your store's success. Um, Obviously, a lot of the basic principles are available in this book. It's usually on eBay for a lot less than $800. There's information in there, except for the portion on lighting is somewhat out of date now. But the primary principles are conveyed on this. This book is also about to be published online for free on a website called Effective Jewelry Display, where you can go on and read it now that there are no more new copies available. I suggest you get a basic book on visual merchandising on eBay. Simply look for fashion merchandising. They run about $5 a piece, and they'll go over the principles of good visual merchandising. You can read articles about display in the trade publications. I write each month for Southern Jewelry News and frequently for InStore. And if you Google their reference section of their website, all of my old articles are available there. And you can notice, as I did with Lowe's and with Cracker Barrel, notice what other non-retailers do in order to grow their business. So try new ideas, track your sales when you try different ideas, do more of what works and less of what doesn't. And for goodness sake, don't just get it all in the showcase. So you can get free help for yourself and your team at Box Brokers University. You can get professional help off of my website, and there are free things as well as a reference library and suggested vendors on LarryJohnsonConsulting.com. And for the first portion of this, that's the end of what I have there. I'd like to answer any questions that anyone has. If you would unmute your microphone, if there's anything that anyone has questions about. Otherwise, I'm going to do about 10 quick minutes of new items that I'm very proud of, that the team at Box Brokers and I created this last year, and that we'll be featuring at the JCK show, as well as IJO, RJO, the Pawnbroker show, the In-Store show, and the Atlanta show later this year. So if anyone has any questions, speak up. Otherwise, I will proceed briefly through these new introductions of 2024. All right. So what we have for 2024 at Box Brokers, you obviously have seen images of the Smart Pro display system. This is the most standard platform that we have, and this is the crux of the family products that's been growing almost monthly now, with new items that make it even more effective for the store. Before, but displays sat in the showcase like a brick, and you had to take each display unit off and put it in tubs, taking a lot of time and adding a lot of labor costs and wearing out the displays. Plus, the displays had no purpose, had no intention. So the creation of the Smart Pro display platform resolved that. It was designed by jewelers to help you make the sale more easier. save you time and labor each morning at the close, stay cleaner and therefore last longer. Trays that you can modify in your store on the run to fit your specific needs, and trays that come with a merchandising strategy. I might share with you that at the JCK show this week, we will be unveiling a visual merchandising booklet that will go along with our customers who are Box Brokers customers that use those displays. So the Smart Pro platforms are available in two generations, Generation 1 and Generation 2. The Generation 1 is a very simple base with the base with a top. The top is magnetic, and this base is available both in a 1-inch and a 2-inch high configuration. With the top on it, the base actually allows storage of understock trays or counter pads underneath the platform to keep your showcases looking neat. The Generation 2 platform has these drawer guides, just like your silverware drawer at home. And the sales associate simply slides this piece back, and when they slide it back, then they can take and lift the top off because it's magnetic, and that's what will go in the safe. These platforms are available in 3 sizes, 11.5, 16.5, and 22.5, so they can fit in virtually any showcase configuration. As I said, the top simply lifts off with all of the elements in position, and it goes right straight into the safe, cutting the labor costs for putting out and taking down the store. But in addition, reducing the wear and tear on the elements because they're not touched unless you're literally showing a piece for sale, which causes your elements to last a lot longer. All of the Smart Pro elements come with a hide-a-tag feature, which helps keep your case look better. They're available from 5 great colors from the inventory in the warehouse, ready to ship from California. Jewelry display orders usually ship within about 48 hours from LA. So it literally means that on the day you place the order, in approximately 10 days, no matter where you are in the continental United States, your store will have these new displays. It certainly helps make your merchandise look like it's worth more. There are other Smart Pro innovations. One includes a corner riser that puts the corner in your clip corner cases to work as you see it here. Another is something we talked about before, flat trays that make your showcases more visible. Here's that branded platform top, the top that has the bite out of it with a color matched piece of paper down here that can be imprinted with halo, can be imprinted with the name of your store, whatever you'd like on it, and it gives a very upscale look to your showcases. This is the multi-use neck form, where this top piece, frequently called a cookie, is available with different cookies, a ring and earring, other applications, a sign holder, to allow this neck form then to show, if we use this one, to have a ring, the pendant, and the earring all in one space. So you're showing 3 pieces of merchandise in this small of an area in the showcase. We created some new, very natural looking neck forms to give more elegance to the front window in the store. We've created a brand new line I mentioned of interchangeable program trays. We've talked today about the proven good, better, best strategy to help you sell more. Earlier this year, Box Brokers developed displays that fight back against the current crime wave that we have of smash and grab and distraction thefts in the store by introducing these 2 products. This is the Silent Siren. It's a ring tower just like the other, except this flap drops down, and inside of it, we have an Apple AirTag. So if someone were to reach into the smash the case, reach in and grab this tower, Jeweler Security Alliance tells us that they almost always take the display. They don't have time to sit there and take each ring off the platform. So they leave the store with this display in their bag, and immediately you can track them, communicate that information to the police, and result in an apprehension. This is another idea in which there are 5 of these ring towers screwed onto this platform, and the ring is actually held into the ring slot by a small tab behind it that locks the ring into the tower. So if someone were to break into, where did my cursor go? There. And grab this platform, it is secured to the inside of the showcase. Here's the AirTag unit, and here it is in the ring tower that has the ring slot buried down in the bottom. Here's the tab that holds the ring into the slot. And as you see, the cable you can choose to use or not. Later this year, we will be introducing, we've had an issue with some people saying that their staff, when they slide the drawer out in a Generation 2 platform, they're leaving it out instead of putting it back inside the showcase. So these new platform bases will have springs in the bottom that'll actually slide this back into the case to avoid any distraction thefts coming from that. Another terrific innovation that Box Brokers has is Smart Pro packaging. It's a very simple concept. We've deconstructed the box. So instead of buying earring, pendant, ring, bracelet, all these different types of boxes, you simply order a series of shells. They come in 3 regular sizes plus a bracelet and a necklace. And the shells have your store imprint in the top of them, but they're empty down here in the base of the pad. So you simply select from, I believe the small size has 13 different inserts, and you simply utilize the insert for whatever piece of merchandise you just sold and insert the pad in, and then you're able to deliver the box. It means you don't have thousands of dollars worth of packaging sitting on your shelf and have that cash plus that storage space occupied waiting for your sales to equate to the particular assortment of boxes. Box Brokers Office offers Smart Pro packaging in a paper hinged, price-oriented box using the small, medium, and large insert. This also shows some of the colors. They offer it in a plastic shell that's wrapped in a paper that matches the 5 colors of displays that Box Brokers displays come in. That's the better. And then they offer the same 3 sizes wrapped with the leatherette. Here you see the good, the better, and the best on the top. Here you see the different inserts. Be easier to see if it wasn't fuzzy. I apologize for that. These are the medium-sized inserts and the large-sized inserts. And as I said, there's a bracelet and necklace option as well, because the inserts won't accommodate layout bracelets or big necklaces. One of the other benefits is that you get these plastic tubs where you can actually sort and organize your inserts so that your inventory of shells and inserts take up much less space and is much more organized. Here, for example, is a client that has the 3 different sizes with the inserts they need. You don't need all 13. Box Brokers simply wanted to make sure that you could deliver any piece of merchandise you had in your case. So as an example, a jeweler with $1 million in sales, and our research has shown that they have about $3,450 worth of box inventory in the back of their store waiting use every day. A Smart Pro packaging store that does the same amount of volume can get by with half this much packaging in their store. And obviously, the bins that I mentioned have QR codes, which make it very easy to simply reorder and restock as you're getting low on insert inventory. Um, your Smart Pro packaging inserts, those inserts we just saw, will also work in these new multi-use displays. This is a cavity of a frame that holds 3 of the small inserts. So you simply go back to those inserts that fit in the small box, the 13 different options. You can combine them in this tray to have a display that might show a ring, hoop earring, and a pendant. So it allows you to have multi-purpose with your Smart Pro packaging. We've worked with the Edge software to create an avenue in their software that will actually keep track of your packaging and your insert inventory. This makes certain that you don't run out of boxes. And this software will just avoid the headaches of not having a box when you're ready to deliver a sale. In addition, Box Brokers gives an extra 5% rebate in cash for clients that are Box Broker package customers who use the Edge software for this purpose. And we have instructional videos on how the members of your team can set that up in your store. So we will, in addition, that software sends you an email when you need to reorder. You simply forward that email to Box Brokers and they'll ship the replacement inserts or pads out to you. A couple of years ago, Jim Porterfield purchased the Phylogem company from Doris Surratt. Phylogem is now available in lots of different variations, including special files for lab-grown diamonds. In addition, they have an offering of appraisal folders and in quite a few styles and colors, as well as custom options. So essentially, that's what's new for this next year. I've enjoyed the opportunity to meet with you this morning, and I hope something that I've offered to you is of benefit. If you have any questions, again, my phone number is 817-980-2135, or you can reach me at Larry at Larry Johnson Consulting. We'll be posting this video on the Box Brokers University site, and I hope that it's helpful to you. If you're attending the